Okay, let's get going here. Hi, everybody. This is Carmen DeValis, and I am founder of Doggies for Dementia Foundation. And welcome to our program, Experts Dig In with Doggies for Dementia. And today I have a phenomenal expert who is an expert on family caregiving, having done quite a bit herself. And I'm so excited to welcome Betsy Wurzel, who is, I want to be sure to read, host of Chatting with Betsy, which is Passionate World Talk Radio. And oh my gosh, she is also the founder of hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass on Facebook and beyond, right, Betsy? Yeah. Yeah. See, I just can't help but kind of giggle when I say that. So welcome to our program.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. And yeah, see, I'm still giggling. Today, though, is a really important topic because when I asked Betsy what you wanted to talk about, you said, you wanted to help to let caregivers know they can get to the other side because we know it's not easy. And you're going to give us some fabulous tips making it to the other side. Yeah. So what do you think is like the most important thing for caregivers to know?
I think the most important thing to make it to the other side, Carmen, and I know it's difficult because I was there, self-care. Self-care is not selfish. It is essential to your well-being. It's a matter literally of life and death and enjoying life after caregiving.
Yeah, and I so love that, Betsy, because I used to tell my families, my clients, and then when it came down to it, I wasn't quite sure how they could do that. So I cannot wait to hear what you did, because I know that's not easy self-care, right? We hear it and it's like, I don't even have 5 minutes.
It's not easy. And Carmen, I'm very blunt. Can I be blunt here? I'm very blunt. It's not easy, folks, especially when your loved one is at the end. It was very hard for me to meditate while Matt is screaming for me, or he was screaming for me, I should say. But just to go into a bathroom, I mean, I used to laugh when I heard people say this, but it's true. Go into a bathroom, deep breathe. Just, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Listen on YouTube. There's plenty of meditation. Even while you sleep, there's sleeping meditation.
True.
Do it.
Yes.
You need to calm your body down. And I can't stress this enough, Carmen. My stress level was like a red alert, like up here. Yeah. And then I found out after Matt passed away, I had to readjust to, I don't have the stress anymore. But the effect of stress on our health, and it's been proven scientifically, it will hurt you. You need to relax as a caregiver. I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's as harmful as, studies I've read, as harmful as like diabetes, heart disease, smoking a pack a day, and the stress and, it's grieving and trying to grieve and be a caregiver and wife. And, one thing I just realized is we didn't describe who you were a caretaker for in your story a little bit. I think we definitely need to backtrack a little bit and talk about that.
Sure, I'm going to show a picture. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is my husband, Matt, who passed away January 1st of this year. I took care of him for 10 years. He had been diagnosed in 2010, but it started like a year or two before. And it was not easy. It really was not easy to get used to, and I don't like to say that term used to, but I can't think of another one, to see that progression. It's very painful. And I don't sugarcoat, Carmen, you know that.
Yeah.
It is painful. And when it's your husband or wife or partner, it's different than a parent. I have unfortunately saw my dad decline. He had dementia, my mother-in-law, but it really hits you worse as a partner, wife, or
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah, I can only imagine because I haven't been through that myself. Yeah, and one thing one of the great myths is that the course of dementia or Alzheimer's and any of the related dementias is relatively short. When you just said that was over 10 years, right? And that's
Yes.
not unusual. It's a long, long road of
Yes. I
yeah.
mean, people could last up to 20 years with dementia, depending, their age, their health. Matt was basically healthy. He was healthy, other than a dying brain, which is like, it just hits you out of nowhere. It's weird because I had an intuition that Matt would have this early. And I remember saying to him, Matt, when you're 60, I want you to go to a neurologist. I believe you're going to get Alzheimer's early.
Wow.
And I didn't know at the time you could get it in your 50s or at any age, really. I did not know that. Apparently the doctors didn't know either because they didn't want to say he had Alzheimer's. And it does run in Matt's family. His mom's whole side had Alzheimer's.
Oh my goodness. And so he was in his 50s, your husband?
He was 56
Wow.
when he was diagnosed.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And all right. So you, in your 50s, you may have had other family you're caring for and taking, tending to, and you had a job also?
Yes. Yes. I worked part-time as a preschool teacher's aide.
Oh my goodness. Oh, all right. Oh my goodness.
Funny. I have to laugh because the parents would say to me, Miss Betsy, you have so much energy. And I'm thinking, if you only knew how little I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were shocked when I told them my husband had Alzheimer's. They were like, how can you smile? How can you be how you are? Well, it wasn't easy at all. But how can I go to work with children and be sad? I can't. So you put on your happy face, and children they made me laugh and smile. But I want to tell your listeners, Carmen, that I highly recommend counseling or therapy. I went for counseling. I'm not ashamed to say I went for counseling. It helps. You need help getting through this. And now I'm having grief counseling. If you have to take an antidepressant, which I didn't, then do it. Do what is necessary for your health.
Right.
And, if you're working or if your husband was working, check the employee assistance program. I was allowed 8 free visits with Max. Also, a senior center. I'm a senior citizen.
Me too, Betsy. I'm like, every once in a while I catch myself, I'm like, really? Because inside I feel like I'm 40, but yeah.
Yes, check your senior centers and they give free counseling.
Yeah, I think it is so important to have someone to talk to who has no horse in the race, who is just neutral, right? And to be there for support. And sometimes it's to listen and to help give that big eye view of stuff. And because, I'm gonna have you talk about it a little bit too, like the day in and day out, the coping. So I heard one I want to ask you about when you said you put on a happy face. And when you did that to work with the kids, did you find that pretending in the beginning helped lead to where it just became real, that it wasn't just putting on a happy face? Eventually you could enjoy other things in life in spite of, or what was that like for you?
Yes, I had a real battle, Carmen, especially the last year of Matt's life, because I felt, in a sense, guilty that here I am, I got a talk show, and I started this group, and Matt is declining. And someone put in perspective for me. They said, Betsy, Matt's journey is Matt's journey. Yours is your journey. Don't feel bad about the good things happening to you. So Matt is dying. And I felt better when I heard that. And, you know, we have a right to enjoy life, even if our loved ones have Alzheimer's, whatever dementia. We have a right to be happy. And it's a mindset, Carmen. I was so determined not to let this disease destroy me. For about 5 years ago, I did almost have a nervous breakdown because I thought I had to be the superwoman. You know, put on my cape, suck it up, take it on the chin. And no, you don't have to be strong 24/7. That's a fallacy. That's wrong. That's too much pressure for anybody.
Yeah, nobody's, I mean, we're humans. We have fluctuation of emotions. I have to say, what you just said just gave me goosebumps, and I think it's going to be maybe the most pivotal thing I hear today, is that when you're caring for someone, yes, that becomes a part of your journey, that caregiving, but you have your journey still, and they have theirs, and to be able to separate that out means you can still do things on your journey and still be a wonderful caregiver and love. It doesn't mean you love them any less, right? Or care for them any less. It's just recognizing it is, I think a lot of times when we're married or with a partner, the journeys get blurred, right? We become like one big journey. And when you become a caregiver, that journey is difficult, and even more difficult than to take, because there's no one there. The person you probably most relied on to care for you and to boost you and to keep you to support, right, was not able to do that anymore.
Right. I mean, Matt was, he was so funny. When I started to do the radio show, he would say, stop talking about me. Talk about me. And then he would say, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good thing, Betsy. And always, whenever I started my show, he would start talking.
Oh, really? Well, I can see both sides of that, right? Because you had to have been talking about what it's like to care for him, but yet at the same time, he's looking and he's proud of you.
Yeah, it was some of the conversations I had. You could hear Matt in the background. But you know, that's real life. I feel blessed, Carmen. And people would say, well, you know, how can you be blessed? I might get a little emotional here. Matt's journey, I thanked him for his journey, which changed my life. I'm a better person because of Matt's journey. And I want people to know, you know, is it easy? No. Do I get sad now that he's gone? Yes. I'm still grieving. And I will always love and miss Matt. There's no question about that. But folks, you have a right to enjoy life, and I'm moving forward. I call it my new different. I'm moving forward. I promised Matt I'm going on with my advocacy. I want the world to know what this disease does. But I want the world to know you can make it as a caregiver. And that's why I named my group hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass, because I got to a place, I was in a black hole. It was either going to kick mine or I was going to kick its ass. I hope I'm allowed to say that on here.
I think so. We're going to, Betsy.
And that's how I came out. I want to inspire caregivers, Carmen, and educate caregivers and have them to know that you can be an advocate, speak up, you can make it, and you can, you know, find your passion, do what feeds your soul. Even if your loved one has any kind of dementia, you still have your own life.
Right. Oh, Betsy. So y'all see why I love Betsy so much. You're such an inspiration, because I think when we're in the midst of the crisis of caregiving, it is so hard to see, as you say, to the other side, or a light at the end of the tunnel, or what should we do now? And I know when I was writing my book and I met with families and I got their stories and they were in the midst of it. They loved telling their story and knew it was going to help other people. And they weren't quite, you know, the strength, or to be, I don't mean the strength, but the energy left to think about what else can I do to help me was, it's short. It's short, and it was really a challenge. And you found your way because, and I know you have not always been really a lover of public speaking. Is that correct?
That's true. People don't believe this, but I was very shy, very quiet. I'm still shy. People don't believe that. uh, put me in a social setting. I like, I went to a seminar at the senior center, and I wouldn't even go up to a table to take a chair. The social worker put me at a table. I'm not one to go up to a table and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Betsy." I did when she, took me to the table, but for me to approach strangers, I just can't. It's hard for me still, and I'm 62.
Yeah, that's why I think I called you the accidental activist.
Yeah,
Right? It just
yeah,
happened, and yeah,
put me in front of a microphone, and I don't know, something just my alter ego takes over, I guess.
yeah,
I
and
started.
it's
Oh, go ahead.
the passion for what you're talking about, right? I mean,
Yes,
it's real for you, and it's living, and yeah, so you just didn't have
yeah,
a choice. Hmm.
yeah. I started going out to my car to do videos 3 years ago. I'm not one for the spotlight. I very self-conscious. I don't like, how I talk. I don't like my voice. And here I am. I figured nobody's going to listen to me anyway. And people did. And I found that, you know what? I had to put aside my insecurities, my self-doubt for this cause. And the cause was to raise, first, it was to raise awareness and early onset. I would take Matt's picture and I'd go, "This is the face of Alzheimer's, folks. It's not your 70 or 80-year-old. This is it."
Yeah,
And then I
yeah,
started talking, other topics, caregiving, guilt, placement,
yeah.
and
Yeah. I'm just so filled with admiration because I found you on Facebook too. I watched some of your videos and I'm just sitting here going, wow, the strength that came through and how you did it was just really an inspiration.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, which came first for you? The videos and the Facebook or social media and the hashtag? Kick Alzheimer's ass, or I mean, now you're doing a radio show.
Right. I started doing the videos. Well, I was on Facebook, but I didn't have a smartphone. It was behind the times. Then I brought a smartphone and I started to do videos. And then I said to Matt, some way, somehow, I'm going to tell the world about you. And I always wanted someone from a radio station to hear me. And lo and behold, 2 years ago, Jeannie White, who's station manager, Passion World Talk Radio, saw one of my videos and contacted me about doing an interview. And I was jumping up and down. I told Matt, I'm going to do, an interview. And then Jeannie said she was starting a show, caregiver series, and asked if I would speak weekly. And I said, sure, but I'm not a professional speaker. Don't have a degree in communications. And she said, it's okay, you speak from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already, and no, I didn't do hashtag Kick Alzheimer's ass back then. It was a little over a year ago that I had started that. I had a training with a life coach, a free session. She said, "Betsy, this is your passion. You need to do it." I was going to wait till after Matt died. And she said, "You need to do it." And then I met Lori Lepore, and her sister was dying at the time. And she said, "Betsy, you have to start this group. You
Mm-hmm.
have to start it, and I'll help you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started it.
Earth Angels. Earth
Okay.
Angels, right?
Yes.
To all of you. Yeah, to see that and to support one another to do that, because you're reaching a lot of people that are feeling lost and not sure what to do next. And I love how that became such a big part of your self-care too, of
Yeah,
doing something you probably would have never imagined doing
that's true. Yes.
ever, right? Had it not been for your situation, and you turn that around, which
That's true. I had to say, Carmen, thank God for Jeannie White, who's an earth angel, because she gave me a purpose, especially at the end of Matt's life. I couldn't believe, like last year, she said, why don't you be a guest host? And I was like, I can't do that. And she said, yes, you can. And then she said, Betsy, I think you should have your own show. And I'm like, I cannot interview people. I am not trained. I don't know how to do it. She said, you'll be fine.
So much faith, huh? Yeah, yeah, and I'm with her because it's just natural for you to converse and to talk about it. And you know, when we talk about self-care, I think in our minds we have the idea of bubble bath, going to get a massage, then meditation when we can, and you know, making sure we eat healthy and exercise, all those basic things that keep us healthy. But sometimes self-care means, just like you did too, was in addition to that, finding a way to channel that energy in a way that, and many of us are powered up when we help people. I know not every personality is like that. That's just the case. And there's other things that power them up. But for those of us that are natural caretakers and caregivers, the more we help other people, the better we feel. It like comes back tenfold. And
very true.
Yeah, it's a matter of finding what gets you, you know, excited and fired up as part of your self-care. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. My mom said to me, how did you get like that? When did you become like that?
Yeah.
She said,
Yeah.
I didn't know you had it in you. And I gave the eulogy at Matt's funeral. And my mom said to me, wow, she goes, you could speak in front of people. And my brother said, you know, that took a lot of strength for you to do that. So I guess I've always been a strong person. And this just made me stronger.
Yeah. Well, Super Betsy was in there. Yeah. Like Clark Kent kind of in that public speaker. I used to be so shy. I didn't hardly talk either, and would never think about speaking in front of a crowd until I did it. And I realized like, oh yeah. And one of the things, the doctor I was working with had me go speak to a group of doctors, and I was a nurse at the time. And he said, you know, what you need to do is look around and just know that what you're speaking about, you know more than almost anybody in the crowd. And they're looking for you to speak about what you know and see and your unique perspective. And so you can't go wrong with that. My knees were still shaking, but I did it. And I thought, yeah. When people came up and go, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that. Then you know, like, okay, you know, you get that now, and that felt good. Just I hope you feel that too when you speak, because you touched my heart listening to your stories.
Oh, thank you. I do. I feel so alive, actually, after I do an interview or when I used to do a video. I just felt that, like, you know, this is my passion. I always liked helping people. I did work as a licensed practical nurse. I was always a caregiver. Ever since I was 4 years old, my mom had pneumonia, and I decided then I wanted to be a nurse. And I was always caregiving for somebody. You know, just who I am. And you know what, Carmen, in my old age, I call it.
No, because we're the same age, Betsy.
You know, as you get older, you get more confidence, right? You're more secure. I've been doing some self-help courses, and I learned to face my fear and do it anyway. Yes, I'm afraid to go in front of the camera. I do it anyway. Yes, I get nervous right before an interview. I do it anyway. You know, and I had to feel in myself, you know what? I am good enough to do this. I need to own it. Because I was thinking, I'm not good enough. There's people out there better than me, you know. What am I doing?
Yeah, great point. And when people are thinking like, what, and you know, this piece of self-care can be in small ways, right? I know right now people are making masks and things because at the time of this recording, we're in the midst of the COVID pandemic. And people have found that when you feel like there's nothing you can do, like it's out of your control, of making it better is out of your control, you find ways that you can be something you can do to help, right? To gain some of that back. And it might be in smaller ways too for people, like right now people are making masks, or I don't know, there's a variety of things we can do, little things to help us feel better too.
Exactly, Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, you're a radio superstar and a social media influencer, but you don't have to start there.
No, not at all.
You are those things, you know.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it's you know, we can't control what's going to happen ever, right? We can't control the situation. And I've heard this over and over again until it finally sunk into my thick head. I can only control me and how I feel. And so even with Matt in his last days, I felt, you know, bad for him. And I really wanted him to go be at peace. I really wanted him to go to his heavenly home. And sometimes I feel guilty about that, but no, he needed to go. He knew. And I was at peace with that. I couldn't control it, but I controlled how I was feeling, you know, and I still did videos. Even as Matt was dying, I filmed his last days. And I was still, as I say, trying to kick Alzheimer's ass. And when I was, tell you how shy I was, and I was 14, 15, I was a candy striper. I'd walk in the patient's room with my head down like that. And someone said, you know, you look a lot prettier if you would put your head up and smile.
Well, that was pretty good advice there. We begin where we begin, right? Yeah.
So that's how shy I was.
All right. So to kind of wrap it up, Betsy, you are an inspiration, and I so wish I could give you a hug in person. We live far away, and sadly, but the importance of self-care, getting support of someone to talk to that is not otherwise involved, to support you on your journey, which leads to the next piece, that your journey is your journey and their journey is theirs, and you can be there in full support without being one journey. You take some, you have your own path as well, and you devote energy to that. It's equally as important. Yeah. And then who knows what that passion is that can give you and you know what you did was you had a little bit of time and you made the best of it, right? You made your videos and it gave you someone to talk to out there.
Right.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing. I want you to recap again where people can listen to your radio show and find your hashtag movement too.
Sure. Chatting with Betsy is on Passionate World Talk Radio, but people can subscribe on Spreaker, Spotify, Amazon, Alexa, iHeart, Google, Apple, name just a few. And my group, hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement, is on Facebook. You don't have to have Alzheimer's. You could have any kind of dementia. You don't even have to be a caregiver. We have people who aren't even caregivers. They just want to educate themselves and help support people who are caregivers. So if you want to be educated, inspired, learn how to kick butt, come join my group.
Yeah, and I love how real you are about it, and because there's no need to sugarcoat it. You know, we can find ways to help ourselves to be at our best. The truth is the truth too, which also means there are moments of joy and happiness. And so thank you for sharing that as well. You know, it's the full realm of our usual emotions, right? And that's a beautiful thing. Now, I always wrap up with a question. So I have a question for you, unrelated, possibly. Yeah. So Betsy, when was the last time you felt awe?
Like as in
AWE, you were like, something just made me went, you know, like just kind of that aha moment that, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, isn't a good thing?
Yes. Well, probably, yeah. Yeah, like a real sense of awe. Like you just, yeah.
Oh, yes. I can't believe that people say to me they're honored to be talking to me. That really is a awe because growing up, people didn't want to talk to me, you know, as a loner. So for people to say they're honored to talk to me or honored to be my friend, I'm in awe of that. That is, or when they tell me I inspire them, I'm in awe. Or that I'm their hero, I'm like, really blows my mind.
Yeah. Are you starting to get it a little bit now, though? I hope so. You really are. I think, yeah, and maybe it's that piece of it that just makes you so, you know, so adorable and that you can't stop watching because we see ourselves. I think almost all of us have that same feeling, you know, not me. I'm gonna, you know, you'll do the best job you can, but inside we're thinking, oh, I don't know, especially the accidental activists that we are. You know, oh, and then when you hear people say that, so there's a piece there we all recognize in you, in other words.
Yes, what you see is what you get with me. I don't script even my interviews. I don't use a script. I can't even read my handwriting.
Yeah, I was very honored to be a guest on your show too, and we laughed a lot too. It's not all gloom and doom.
Yes, I tell people, maybe I shouldn't. I tell people I'm not your polished host. I just go with the flow of the conversation. I'm very unpolished.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I got to be authentic to me. I mean, what you hear is me.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Well, I invite guests to go seek out Betsy. Take a listen. You won't be disappointed. I know that. And I so thank you for being our guest today. And I know you'll be our guest again. I'm going to watch for some of the comments and what questions you might have for Betsy that we can answer for you. Right? We can come back and
Thank
chat.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carmen. It's an honor for me to be on your show.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you so
you.
much. I hope I did okay. I get choked up sometimes.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, no, this has been wonderful, and I think our guests will really love it. So thank you all for tuning in to Experts Dig In with Doggies for Dementia. Watching the comments, well, I'll go ahead and put in there where we can find you, Betsy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then be sure, and y'all listening, put your comments in there so we can answer your questions too. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Betsy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
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 All right. Let me stop the recording here. That was wonderful. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh.